And we're back, guys. Thank you for the love and support. And we are here taking a look at Coco Gauff, the future of tennis, and her historic 24 season. Yes, that's right. She is the WTA champion, but it didn't start off that way. Well, technically it did, as she won her first championship to start the year. But we're going to take a look at the ups and downs and just a very long, grueling season for Coco, but she would come out on top at the end. I'm your host, Good Energy. As usual, this video is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. She would start things off defending her championship in Auckland. That's right, guys. We all know this tournament in Auckland. It's been very historic for American champions like Serena and Venus. In case you guys don't know, Coco was actually in Serena's one of her commercials when she was just 9 years old. So she has been around the best in the business for a very long time. She started things off there taking out American Claire Liu, who's also a junior slam champion. She beat Brina Favretova in the round of 16, Varvara Gracheva in the quarterfinal, Emma Navarro in the semifinal. She beat her pretty easily, and Emma would go on to say she just wasn't ready for Coco. And we're going to talk about Emma a little bit later in this video. But she would meet Elina Svitolina in the final, the championship match. She would drop the first set, but she would come back and win the second and third set, 6-3, 6-3, as Gael Monfils, Bonjour, comment allez-vous, would watch his wife fall in 3 sets to the defending champion Coco Gauff. And of course, the rich history in Auckland. Coco, though, however, she did say when she won it her first year, which is a couple seasons ago, that she would be back. She won it this year. She said she would be back. However, she has committed to the United Cup. So I don't think Coco's going to be able to defend her championship in Auckland. I'll have to double check the schedule, but I don't think she will, because I know Auckland starts right around the 1st or 2nd of the new year, and the United Cup is still underway. Mentioning the United Cup, while Coco was winning Auckland, Qinwen Zheng, she was representing China, and they would be eliminated. Coco would head on to the Australian Open, where she would take out Anne-Carolina Smedlova in straight sets, 6-3, 6-love. She would take out Caroline Dolehide in the second round, and this would set up what I said at the time, a matchup bigger than the Super Bowl, against AP in the building, a.k.a. Alicia Rockets, Alicia Parks. And boy, was Alicia excited. I was excited. Everyone was excited. The channel did so much viewership, so many views, and you guys all subscribed. You showed all these ladies love. One of my biggest videos was a prediction between Coco and Alicia Parks. So thank you guys for all that love and support. We all know Alicia has a huge fan base here in the channel. She's an amazing talent, amazing athlete. And we wish Alicia Parks nothing but the best. She got injured today in the Midland Championship against Rebecca Marino, but Alicia Parks will be back. Coco was excited for that matchup, and she would take the older player, but the less experienced player when it comes to the professional tour level. She would take Alicia to school in that match. She would beat Alicia, giving her a bagel in the first set. Oh, this match was so exciting. And she would win the second set 6-2. Alicia, I definitely think, learned from that. And Coco would say, be happy and smile. That's right, guys. Coco's only 20 years old. At the time, she was 19 when she played this match. The most accomplished teenager on tour. And people don't realize that. And here's the thing about Coco. Let me go on one of my little rants again. People don't realize how much pressure she has on her for being so good at such an early age. No lady on tour has had the teenage career right now. No lady on tour right now has had the teenage career Coco's had. Like literally, 7 titles, 2 slam appearances. She's made 4 slam appearances at the age of 20. It's like none of these ladies have. I mean, Sabalenka's like 26 going on 27. You know, Rebecca is like 24. Iga's like 23. Coco has the most Master 1000 wins as a teenager. These ladies came late. Now, Iga did get hot late 18, 19. So she came on strong. So some of her accolades are consistent with Coco, but not as a junior. And Iga doesn't have that extra slam appearance. Coco won the U.S. Open at 19, but she also made the French Open championship the previous year. Coco made 3 slam appearances as a teenager. None of the ladies on tour did that. Factor in 2 junior slam titles, the most Master 1000 wins, Coco being stacked up in the toughest draws, Venus, Serena, Iga, Halep, Osaka. She literally had multiple matchups with the top 10 players still being a teenager. She played Ons like 6 times, Caroline Garcia like 6 times, all older ladies, Osaka like 5 or 6 times. She played Sabalenka like 6 times as a teenager, Iga like 10 times as a teenager, Halep like 6 times. She was playing all these top tier ladies because she's that darn good. But she would get past Alicia Park. She would take out Magdalena Frach. She would beat Marta Kashuk in a marathon match, and this would set up a showdown with Arina Sabalenka, where she made Arina Sabalenka move front, back, side to side like a new TikTok dance move or something. And I say it all the time. Arina at the net against Coco, a nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. And we saw firsthand here, Sabalenka just could not hang with Coco's speed, athletic ability, and Coco came to the net. And you saw my video. I said, Coco's like Millie rocking. Look at her at the net, just shaking it. Whoa, she looked good in this match. I liked the outfit, but I did think the outfit was a little bit too tight. I think it hindered. This outfit's tight. I don't think she was comfortable in this outfit. The Americans were waving their flags around their head like a helicopter. Okay, well, not necessarily, but they were excited. And this is where Coco would end up going up 6-5. And this is where the match took a turn, right? Coco shanked one here. She had a ball that Sabalenka literally looked like it was going out, but it dropped in. She had so much time to put this ball away, and the racket, it just one of those shots where she shanked it. It looked like it was going out. She's gonna let it go, decided to hit it, and it just, next thing you know, up love 30, she's down. Then she falls down on a shot. It's just a bad turn of events. She should have held on and won that service game. I think she wins her second slam here. So Sabalenka got lucky again, just like they played not too long ago on the Chinese portion of the tour. We're going to talk about that matchup, but Sabalenka got lucky in a lot of these matchups. Coco's back as well. So this was a bad sequence of events for her, a match she should have won. Billie Jean King, the camera, they flashed the camera at her, and she was like, oh, ouch, Coco. Look, everyone cheers for Coco. It's just, I'm telling you guys, as someone that covers Coco so much, she has so much love. And this is why I say it all the time. This channel is about good energy. The little bit of haters she gets, and they have a big voice, right? It's not that Coco, it's just, or what's the best way to word this, because you guys know when I do these videos, I get my clips and I just go. This is the thing about this channel is you're getting the facts live. I'm literally live. I hit record and I go. I don't have notes. I don't have a script. This is live. The only time I have a script is when I go in the video and I do my predictions, with the music and all that and the jokes. And a lot of times when I do those, I'm still just hitting record on the mic, just talking, This channel, and this is why I love you guys that support the channel. This channel, I hit record and I tell you what it is. I can go in the studio and I could turn on the camera and write a script and sit down in front of the microphone and, act like an expert and act all professional. Guys, I do that live. Okay. So this is why you have to love this channel. It really looked like Billie Jean King wanted Coco to win. Because she's cheering. And when it showed her miss this shot, she doesn't have an expression here, but you could see the reaction from her and Brad as well. And the reality here is all the professionals, all the people that literally contribute to the tour, the WTA tour, the experts, the commentators, they all know how skilled Coco is. I think it's the casual fans that don't really watch tennis that think she's, the best they just think that it's hype or something, like it's a hype train. It's not. She really has the best backhand on tour. She's really the fastest player on tour. She's really the best defender on tour. She is really a phenomenal talent. She's a once in a generational lifetime talent. And the casual fans that don't watch it think that she should be winning slams, 2 to 3 slams a year to be the best. They don't realize that, how good she is and how much she's accomplished, because they're just casual fans. So although she would be eliminated in the semifinal of the Australian Open, she had to feel good about herself. And look, I think that outfit was just too tight. I think it was too tight. And I said it at the time. And again, these clips here you're watching, this is all from the matches that I've covered. So again, there's no script. I'm just talking about what I remember as I covered the match. And again, this content is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Mac. She would wave goodbye to the fans, and that was just really, really sad, you know. That was sad. So she would lose that match. And I'm going to get to the future match that they would play in China. They wouldn't know it at the time of the Australian Open, but I'm going to talk about that later. So let's save that. Let's go to, I don't know where. We go to Dubai, where she would take out Elizabeth in the second round. And this would set up the matchup with Pliskova. This was the controversial matchup. My biggest video on YouTube, or one of my biggest videos. I have some other videos that have done hundreds of thousands of views, but this would be my biggest Coco video. And of course, it was a video where the haters would try and come for Coco for standing up and fighting for herself. Now, listen, guys, if you didn't watch the match, it was a bit confusing what was going on. So what was happening in this match, and this is her cheering after she finally got the job done. Pierre, who's a French coach, and we all saw Coco get a lot of bad treatment on the French leg of the tour. Any relation to Pierre? Possibly. So he's from France. We all know that. He's been very successful in the restaurant business, his family. And for the most part, I've liked him as a chair umpire, but he's been involved in a lot of controversy when it comes to these calls. And it's not just Coco. It didn't just start here. So this match here with Coco, he overturned 4 to 5 calls all against Coco. And we're like, what is going on? When I say overturn, the line judge made calls and he changed them. Things got really bad when the replay showed Coco was right. And look, she's like, look, call for a chair umpire. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is live, by the way. She said, call for a supervisor. I want to speak to a supervisor. And he said no, he denied her. And Andy Roddick, who I love that guy, he would come to Coco's defense and he's like, look, there's a lot going on here. 1, Pierre's wrong. 2, he knows he's wrong and he's lying about being wrong. And 3, you have a professional player, one of the biggest players on tour, asking for a supervisor, and you're lying, denying her that right. Unbelievable. And Brad Gilbert would come and defend Coco again. And that's one thing I liked about Brad. He really stood up and he really, really would defend Coco a lot. Now, let's go to the Indian Wells, as Coco would be eliminated by Anna Kalinskaya. And that would make her, after that 10-match win streak starting the season, that would make her second straight tournament where she was eliminated. Of course, in Doha, she was eliminated in the second round to Katerina Siniakova, who would be her future doubles partner. We're going to talk about that later. And she would lose to Anna Kalinskaya in 3 sets in Dubai. But Anna Kalinskaya would say, Coco, very, very powerful. I felt her strength and her pressure right up to the last point. Tough match. At the Indian Wells, she would take out Yu Yan, but en route to that matchup with Yu Yan in the quarterfinal, which would set up a semifinal clash with Zachary, she beat some really good players along the way. Clara Buell in the second round that went 3 sets. I remember watching that match. I was there. Buell put on an amazing match. Coco had to come back in that tiebreak to get the win. Bronzetti was a tough match. Elisa Mertens was a tough match. Yu Yan was tough. But she would only drop 1 set to Buell, and she would end up dropping the first set to Zachary. Now, this is the statistic I talked about all year long. Coco Gauff, a lot of her losses early on were to top 20 players or top 20 players on tour, and they would come after she was up a break in the 3rd set. That serve would fell her. Zachary, the Greek goddess, again, nothing but positive things to say about Coco. In the meantime, we would see Osaka losing to Elisa Mertens. That would stop her comeback early. And another player that was upcoming that I told you guys to watch out for a very long time. A lot of people have ignored her because she's been 3 or 4 in terms of that Italian ranking, right? She's been like the 3rd or 4th best Italian player behind. For a long time, it was Georgie, even Elizabeth and Martina Trevisan, who at one point was a top 20 player. But she would make her move, that's right. And Jasmine Pellini, she would start the climb. After being eliminated by Sakri at the Indian Wells, we would see Coco take out Nadia Podoroska in the first round of Miami. Ocean Dodden, she had to come back down big in the first set, and she would give Ocean a bagel in the 3rd round. And then we would see Caroline Garcia Bonjour Contelevu play possum. That's right, calling for the physio, ladies and gentlemen. This would get interesting. Garcia took the first set. Coco would win the second set, 6-1. And then the 3rd set, Coco was up early, but Garcia calling for the physio. She would shank one. And Coco, she's a Florida native from the 305, would be eliminated by Caroline Garcia. We would head to Stuttgart, where we would see a showdown. That's right, guys, with Sasha Vickery. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? She's from the United States, but she played tennis a lot in France at an early age. She was big time in France. That's right, guys. So I'm sure she speaks French. And that would set up a showdown where, again, Coco, another epic battle. She was down a break in the 3rd set. She would come back against Sasha Vickery, who you better watch out for. She's amazing, guys. Then that would set up a blockbuster in the quarterfinal with Marta Kasiuk. Was she playing possum with Coco? Something's wrong with her foot. Calling for the physio a lot. I felt she kept trying to disrupt Coco's momentum. And early in the season, she didn't mention Coco when she mentioned the big 3. Was that disrespectful? I'm not going to say it was disrespectful, because when she would win this match, yes, she would win this match after Coco had an opportunity to serve it out. Coco was even up a break in the 3rd set. And yes, Marta, after that amazing run at the Australian Open, top 20 player, another loss Coco would have to a top tier elite player. And Marta's been named with that class, that class a few years ago, that 21 class of Emma Raducanu, Clara Towson, Leila Fernandez, Marta Kasiuk, that group of players that dominated the junior circuit, making it to junior slams. Yes, Marta was predicted to have a huge career, and I felt this year at the Australian Open, if we go back a few years ago, where Svitolina destroyed her as that big sister from the Ukraine, she finally broke out this year at the Australian Open. But with Marta Kasiuk, ladies and gentlemen, did she play possum? I don't know. Maybe she did. But leaving Coco out of that big 3 list, a lot of people felt it was disrespectful. I made several videos about it. And listen, guys, when Kendrick Lamar dropped that song, why do you think I posted that video? F the big 3, it's just big me. And we all know right now with Coco, it's just big Coco because she's the champion. Marta, though, I do give her a pass because she would say after winning this match, she would congratulate Coco. And she's like, this is a very, very big win for me. So she did show the respect. But again, a lot of people sleep on Coco, and I just think it's because of her age, right? All those other ladies are older. But nonetheless, Coco would not get the Porsche as Iga Swiatek would get it. We would continue the clay season. Coco's bestie, Haley Baptiste, bonjour, comment allez-vous, and Robin Montgomery, that's right, Junior Slam champ, all dueling it out on the clay circuit. As we would head to Madrid, ladies and gentlemen, Arantxa Rus, who's got like over 20 clay championships. She's like approaching, 800 wins for her career. She's an amazing clay player. Coco would give her 2 bagels, and that's when I said, look, you better watch out for Coco on clay. She's going to win one of these French Open championships. She would take out Diana Yastremska, who always has rockets, in the 3rd round, and that would set up a showdown with Maddie Patty, who would defeat Coco in 3 sets. And once again, another matchup against a top 20 player that Coco would lose, where she had the chance to really hold on and win this match in the 3rd set. Brad looking on. We couldn't believe it. But once again, Coco would bounce out. We would head to Rome, ladies and gentlemen, where Coco, playing doubles, that's right, with a new doubles partner, would have the opportunity to win a doubles title. Magdalena Frach, she would take out in the first set. A little frustrating, but she would win that pretty easily. 6-3, 6-3. Jacqueline Christian in the second round would go 3. That's right. Jacqueline's got a lot of power from the hard-hitting Romania. She's strong, but Coco would come through there. That would set up a showdown with Paula Badosa in Rome, where Coco again would come through in 3 sets. That's a Jordan fist pump. She takes out Paula Badosa. Yes, you see that guy there? He knows who a superstar athlete is. That's Coco. Coco mobbed by fans as always, guys. The fans love Coco, and this would set up the blockbuster with Ken Wen-jung. She says, "Call me Queen Win, everybody." That's right, guys. The quarterfinal matchup, the first set went to a tiebreak. Coco says when she comes out and she has her headphones on, she's probably listening to like Jaden Smith. She doesn't switch up the songs a little bit. Pierre, Coco's old coach. Coco would take the first set in the tiebreak, and the second set was a straight blowout. Breadstick, Iga Swiatek style, 6-1. And by the way, that would set up a showdown with the pole. Iga, big bad Iga. Iga would come through 6-4, 6-3. Stop, please, no photos. Iga would get the victory, guys. Iga's tough. We all know it. But we all felt that Coco played Iga probably the best since Cincinnati. As we go back to Cincinnati. Now, I talked about how Coco needs to beat Iga. She just needs to be relaxed. I felt that Brad, not necessarily Brad, but just from what I've been seeing, the game plan, the game plan just didn't suit her. The horrible serve, horrible changes to the serve, overthinking there, just giving her too much to think. Tennis is too fast, You can't go out there overthinking. You got to just play, have fun, be yourself. But the key with Iga during a lot of those matches, especially on the clay swing, I couldn't understand it. Her average speed on the forehand, plus 6 miles per hour. What was going on, ladies and gentlemen? She would beat Coco in the semifinal in Rome, and they would meet again in the French Open, guys. 2 years prior, they met in the French Open Championship. Coco was also in the French Open Doubles Championship, the opportunity to become champ. But Iga Swiatek would take the first set 6-2. And by the way, in that French Open semifinal, Coco got there after taking out Endeva in the first round. She took out Tamara Zedensek, who's an amazing clay player, in the second round. Diana Yastremska again in the third. She would take out Eliza Beta in the 16 and Ons Jabeur in the quarterfinal round. Meanwhile, trying to come back on the doubles scene as she lost in Rome in that doubles championship with her partner. Who was that? Was it Routcliffe? Was it? I want to say. Now, she lost in Rome in that doubles final. Yep, that's there, Aaron. And that was pretty heartbreaking, but it was happy to see Polini and Sarah Irani capture that championship, right, in their home country. Not necessarily Jasmine's home country. She's a native too. Well, I mean, I guess depends on how you look at it. Her mom's Italian and her dad's African. Yeah, something like that. But nonetheless, Jasmine and Polini would pick up that championship. We would head then, I guess, should we go back to the French Open, I guess, because we were already there nonetheless. Robin Montgomery, Coco's bestie, trying to get a spot, trying to make her way in. And yes, guys, that there is Leola Janjan. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Now, the reason why I want to put Leola in this video is because, remember, a few years ago at the U.S. Open, she had a drop shot against Coco. Coco fell down, got back up, ran and chased it down. Leola looked at the camera and was like, what? That's right. Coco's that fast. But a lot of crazy stuff in France. Not only was Coco getting robbed by calls, Robin Montgomery was getting robbed by calls. I don't know what's up with these French officials, but we're going to talk about the Olympics, a little later. Let's get back to the match with Iga. Iga at the French Open semifinal. Iga will win it 6-2, 6-4. We felt that Coco, look at the grip, Western grip. We felt that Coco played really good. The score, even though it was 6-2, 6-4 straight set victory, it was a long match at the French Open. It was a long, grueling match, and I felt that every match that she plays against Iga, she's learning and getting better and better. And eventually the tides are going to turn. But again, Coco's still loved by the fans. Doesn't matter if she wins or loses. They all want autographs. Coco, though, more fans, more mob. Tamara. By the way, Tamara, she's an amazing clay player, guys. She's got a ton of championships. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. I did want to put this in here. Osaka and Iga, right? Amazing matchup here. Osaka had the chance to rewrite history. She really did. She had the chance to serve this match out. That's tough. But again, congratulations to Iga, and they are good friends. They're good friends because I remember they used to do a lot of lives together in chat. So that's when Iga was, she didn't have this mental coach and all this crazy stuff. She was just a sweet young lady. I mean, not that she isn't now. Of course she is now, but I just remember the younger Iga, reaching out to Osaka. That was pretty cool. I did want to talk about Ons. That's right. So Ons early on, a lot of injuries the first half of the season, and she said it was very, very depressing. She would come back though, and I think she played well against Coco. Remember, at the French Open, this match went 3 sets. Ons won the first set. Coco had to come back and win the second set 6-2. I want to say she won the third set 6-3, but nonetheless, after losing to Iga in the French Open semifinal, this is what I wanted to get to. Katarina and Coco. Coco would win her second doubles. No, she would make her second doubles championship in the French Open, but she would win her first doubles title, her second slam title overall. And remember, Katarina is a junior career slam winner. I imagine Coco's going to be a junior career slam winner because I think LA 28, I think Coco's going to win that. That's going to be a hard, ladies and gentlemen. Iga's going to be a few years older. Sabalenka's going to be a few years older. I'm pretty sure Coco's going to win that gold medal. Congratulations to Katarina. And no, that's not Coco's dad. That was a joke, guys. You got to take a joke here. We get so many haters here. When I say a joke, just laugh at it. Even if you don't like it, just laugh at it. But Katarina, congratulations. She actually had an opportunity with Taylor Townsend to win championship match, but Rootcliffe and company, they would come through and take it. Let's head to Berlin, guys. Okay, clay season is over. Berlin, we saw Coco get revenge against Ekaterina. She won the first set tiebreak. And right there, guys, remember Coco's dad told her, you can change the world with your racket. Coco had a little bit of scare, though. We thought she injured her ankle, but she was able to shake it off. And we would see another matchup with Ons. Everyone loves Ons in the quarterfinal. Coco and Ons went to a first set tiebreak, and Coco would actually end up winning that match as Ons would have to retire. That set up a semifinal matchup. And remember, guys, Coco, the most quarterfinal, semifinal appearances, I want to say the last 2 years or the last year, something like that. Coco has made history time and time again. She would set up a semifinal with Jessica Pegula, where the first set would go 7-5 to Pegula, and the second set went to a tiebreak. Remember, we had a rain delay in this matchup, so they had to come back later and play it, and it just favored Pegula. Pegula would win that. Then we would head to SW19, where Coco came out with, like the blonde highlights on the braids, looking like a very young Serena, very beautiful, classy woman. Mobbed by the fans as she would take out American Carolyn Dolehide in the first round. Alexa Tadini in the second round. Cartel in the third round. A bagel she dished out. That's mom. And take a look at her first serve contact points. Look at all the green. Look at all the red there. Of course, guys, a lot of people just wanting to attack the right-hand side facing north. You see a lot of the green there, though. Just not working. Stay away from the backhand side, in my personal opinion. Coco Gauff, though, after beating Cartel, that would set up the showdown. That's right, guys, between fellow Americans Emma Navarro Emma Navarro, again, early in the year, just stating she wasn't ready for Coco and Auckland. I think Coco destroyed her. This is a matchup I felt Coco should have won. But again, just having these ridiculous game plans where you're giving Coco all of this data to translate instead of letting her problem solve on the fly. If there's something mid-match that as a coach you see another player's doing, yeah, give your player feedback. But I think Coco was coming into a lot of these matches trying to do things, making her hesitate, taking away her natural instinct and ability, and therefore reducing her speed and athletic ability. Emma Navarro will win this after Coco gave her 5 free service games, and still, literally, Coco only lost by a few service games. So that's just a testament to how great Coco is of a player. While Coco was being eliminated in Wimbledon and would head to France, Alicia Parks, she would win the Polish Open 125K. Alicia Parks made the Midland Open today. She would lose in the championship match to Rebecca Marino. So let's wish her a speedy recovery. Coco received a lot of hate. A lot of haters here that were upset that she was a flag bearer for the United States with LeBron James. Listen, guys, I was there. I saw him. Amazing, classy. And remember, guys, the athletes voted Coco to be the flag bearer. So she didn't select it. It wasn't her choice. So don't be mad at Coco. Now, the Olympics started off with Coco taking out Isla Tomljanovic in the first round. Tough match. Again, Isla doesn't get enough respect, in my opinion. Yes, she's in her 30s, but she's a very strong opponent. Great stamina, great backhand, deep balls. She's got good range. Watch out for her this season. A full season healthy. I think she'll do fine. She took out Carly from Argentina, 6-1, 6-1 in the second round. That was at a round of 16 class with Dana Vekic. The first set would go to a tiebreak. Not without controversy, ladies and gentlemen. Another French chair umpire giving Coco a hard time. That's right, guys. I was just furious when I saw this. One of the most popular players on tour asking for a supervisor. Dana Vekic would end up winning that matchup. Coco could not defend her title in D.C. because she was in France. She would come back to Toronto, take out Wong in the first round. That would set up a showdown with Diana Snyder, who made my teenage list. Someone I said, watch out for her. And she would beat Coco 6-4, 6-1. She would say in the post-match interview, Coco is very strong and fast. Yeah, listen to the opponents. She would then head to Cincinnati, where she would be possibly defending her championship. But she didn't go deep in that draw, guys. She would be bounced out of the Cincinnati draw in the second round in 3 sets. After being up a break in the third set, her serve would fail her, as Yulia Putintseva would say in the post-match interview. I just got lucky. Coco's serve failed her at the worst possible time. Horrible matchup. Again, at one point, Yulia would win like 17 out of 20 points because Coco just kept giving her free points. Yulia would advance, but would soon be eliminated. Coco didn't know what was going on. How did my serve fail her? I have no idea. But let's get ready for the U.S. Open, where Coco would be responsible for defending her championship. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of her post-match interviews was, if you have the opportunity to defend something, that means you won something. There's no pressure on me. I kind of felt, yeah, that's a beautiful message. It's positive. But come on, Coco. You got to go in there to defend your title. You got to believe you can win. Meanwhile, Sloane was struggling with Clara Buell. After destroying Buell in the first set, she had the chance to serve this match out, and then Bonjour Kmatalu, the French woman, went to the short ball, got Sloane off of that baseline. She could not react. That's a mini Jordan fist pump, and she would upset Sloane Stephens. After the first round victory against Varvara, she would take out Tatiana Maria, and in between there, Nick Kyrgios he offered to coach Coco. That's right, guys. Nick is getting into commentating, and look, he's a big draw. People love him. Huge basketball fan as well. I just hope he can play another full season before he hangs it up. But he talks about going out while he's still pretty young and healthy. He doesn't want to go out being embarrassed and outclassed. We will then head to Beijing, ladies and gentlemen. Konnichiwa. That's right, Paul. I mean, that's Japanese, but she's Japanese and Haitian. That's right, guys. In the meantime, before we get there, Osaka would have a huge showdown with Karolina Mukova in New York City. And Mukova went to the short ball, much like Claire Buell did against Sloane Stephens. She went to the short ball against Osaka, got her off the baseline, and Osaka just couldn't react. Coco's dad was a bit nervous. Again, the showdown. Svitolina, Coco, she would win. Straight sets. Or was it straight or was it three? No, I think it was 3 sets. Yeah, she won with 3 sets with Svitolina. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. After losing the first set, she would have to come back, if my memory is correct. How can I forget the matchup with Emma Navarro at the U.S. Open? So the matchup with Emma Navarro at the U.S. Open, again, Coco would give her like 5 free service games, a ton of double faults. And Emma, in the post-match interview, Leon was there. I'm not going to sing, though. Had nothing but positive things to say about Coco. Beautiful. Coco would take the loser's walk, but we all know she's not a loser. Tough match. I felt that was a sigh of relief, though. I just felt Coco had a lot of pressure to defend that title. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we head to Beijing. Little hiccup there. Who's in IT today, by the way? Clara Buell, again, she would beat straight set 7-5, 6-3. Katie Bolter. A lot of people thought Bolter was going to beat Coco. Like, come on, guys. Are you crazy, man? She beat Bolter in 3. That would set up a showdown. Fans mobbing Coco again, as always. And this was the showdown, ladies and gentlemen. Not Buell. Hi, Buell. You're amazing. Osaka would come next, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Osaka would win the first set 6-3 and then run into an issue. She had the opportunity to serve out the second set. That's right. She was up a break. All she had to do was hold on. Called for the physio. She said she had back spasms. Her back started to bother her. Coco would break back, end up taking the second set 6-4, and then in between sets, Osaka would call it quits. Coco carried Osaka's bag off the court. The ladies had a beautiful hug at the net. Coco would go on to take out Stardupseva in 3 after dropping the first set again. Paula Badosa in 3 after dropping the first set again. And that would set up a showdown with Karolina Mukova from the Czech Republic. Coco would win that in 3 sets. Another beautiful hug at the net between the ladies. And Coco would win her second Master 1000 event, giving her the most wins. That's right, guys. As I'd say since the Open era, Coco has the most wins in Master events. Unbelievable. Congratulations, Coco Gauff. And in terms of Wuhan, ladies and gentlemen, that would be the next tournament where she would head to Wuhan. That's the trophy there, her and Mukova. They look beautiful. Beijing champ. Wuhan, she would take out Victoria Tomova in the first round, 6-1, 6-2. She would take out Marta Kasiuk again in the second round, 6-4, 6-1. Magda Linette in the third round. That would be a straight set victory. She gave Magda a bagel. Magda's a really good player. And was it in? Was it out? The showdown with Sabalenka. Sabalenka would win this match again. Coco handed out 4 to 5 free service games full of a ton of double faults. Couldn't really get her serve together, but I did feel that Sabalenka was under a lot of pressure. She only won by a couple service games, and Coco had a huge first set. She destroyed Sabalenka 6-1. Oh, that was a tough loss because I do feel that, without a doubt, I mean, Coco would have won back-to-back Master 1000 events. But I still felt Coco was in great form heading into the Masters. Sabalenka, again, in the post-match interview would say she feels bad for Coco because she knows what she's going through with the service issues. And if you take a look there, 21 double faults. It's a lot of free service games, guys. We would head to the Masters Cup, the last event of the season. This is Coco's third time here in the WTA Finals. At the young age of 20, she is a veteran, ladies and gentlemen. How many ladies on tour can say they made 3 year-end championships? Started things off with the matchup against fellow American Pegula, and she frustrated Pegula all match long. A lot of people had Pegula winning this matchup, but I told you guys, I think Coco's better than Pegula. She should beat her. And sure enough, she beat her. She beat her fairly easily. 6-3, 6-2. Pegula could not get anything going. Coco wearing the royal purple. I noticed that right away in the photo shoots. And that means a lot of good things if you're into that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, it means victory. She would take on Iga Swiatek in the second round, and Iga doing her Nadal shuffle at the net, Coco doing her vertical leap at the net. The head-to-head 11-1. No one gave Coco a chance to win this match. I told you guys Coco was going to come out, set the tone. She did exactly that. She won the first set 6-3. One thing we noticed is, look, Coco wasn't overthinking. She was playing her game. She served well. And Renee said it best. If Coco serves under 6 double faults, she's going to beat everyone in this tournament. Sure enough, she did. She started off red hot against Iga Swiatek, took the first set 6-3. The second set, Iga put up a fight, but would get broken, and Coco would hold on 6-4. Some of the things we noticed are some of the things we always knew. Coco's the fastest player on tour. She's the best defender, and if she's serving well, she's going to beat you because her backhand's the best in the business. Iga Swiatek just a little too slow. A lot of the Polish fans came for Coco in this matchup. That's right, guys. The matchup against Barbora Krejcikova. Coco's spot in the semifinal was locked up. And I say to you, if you want to make the semifinal, the championship match, then win. It's not Coco's job to guarantee another player secures their spot. Coco's got to do what's best for her. And just like a lot of professional teams, whether it's NFL, baseball, NBA, when they have a guaranteed playoff spot, they'll rest their players. They don't want their players getting injured. I felt Coco played smart, knowing that she had Sabalenka in the next round. I'd probably say, this is my opinion. I mean, I'd say she probably played at 80%. But again, she's not trying to get into a long, grueling match, knowing that she has Sabalenka without that extra day rest. Sabalenka had another day's rest. It's strategic, guys. Coco's not playing for Iga Swiatek to advance. She's playing for the best for her career and for her schedule. That's what fans have to understand. Barbora will win this match. She played good, and Coco's still at 80% put up a fight. 7-5, 6-4. That lets you know just how darn Coco is. And she was still into it, still passionate. Barbora was very excited in the post-match interview, and she said, look, this is a good win for me. Coco being the most marketable player on tour, the most popular player on tour, the face of tennis, she's going to get everyone's best, and she's going to play hard to set up the matchup with Sabalenka. Sabalenka yelling at her coaches early, frustrated, slamming rackets, facial expressions, anger. Coco would bring her forward to the net and make her do the splits. Sabalenka could not get anything going. Coco would take the first set after having a chance to serve it out. 7-6, 6-4. That was the first set, ladies and gentlemen. The second set, things were interesting. Now, after losing the first set, though, Sabalenka would come forward, hit the ball with force in the stands. Coco was like, whoa, did she just do that? Sabalenka back to her old childish antics. I don't know if that was necessarily good for the sport. I don't think the fans liked it because the fans were cheering loud and clear for Coco. They wanted Coco to win. But you can't blame her. That would set up the final showdown with Kenwen Jung from China. And listen, guys, the backhand winners, guys, the receiving points, it was a matter of time before Coco figured it out. Kenwen Jung was attacking the backhand. It's like, I don't know, was that reverse psychology, expecting Coco to anticipate the average opponent just attacking the forehand, go to the backhand, where maybe she could get confused? You could possibly force her into thinking you're setting up something to the forehand side. I don't know what the game plan was, but Kenwen continued to go to the backhand, and that was just not a good decision. because she had the opportunity to hold on and serve this match out. And Coco just kept fighting and fighting. The hashtag is relentless. Coco showed you guys she by far now, I would say, is mentally the toughest player on tour. She's always been tough. To be a tough defender, you have to be tough because your job is to chase down balls, show effort, fight, and just continue to get balls back. These long rallies, we saw rallies of 27 shots, 15 shots, 20 shots, 13 shots, 24 shots. Coco won all of them. All of them. Kim Won-jung had her opportunities, though. She was up 2-love in the second set. She was up 2-love in the third set. She was up a break deep in the third set, had the chance to serve it out. She was fired up. And I do like her emotion. I like her passion. I like her anger. I think she channels it at the right time. But again, I felt the handshake at the net was a little sloppy. And the fans here, again, they stood up for Coco. I felt in the second set where Coco was down, I want to say, so she was down 2-love, then Coco would run off the next 3 service games. She really motioned to the crowd right here, like, get up, come on, get up. And these folks right here from the USA, they really carried Coco in this matchup. The Chinese fans were waving their flags. They were excited. But it was shocking to me, or I don't want to say shocking, but it was interesting to me to see the Saudi princes get up and clap and cheer for Coco. They wanted Coco to win, and there was the Jordan fist bump. She got it done, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say that this is just as big of a championship as the U.S. Open, but the U.S. Open being her first slam, definitely the biggest. This is huge for Coco. It's big for Coco because to win a WTA final is amazing. You have the best 8 ladies in the world. Now, I try to look at what's better, winning a slam or the WTA yearly master final. And here's the thing. The WTA Finals has the 8 best ladies in the world. If you win that, that's just, it's huge, right? When you win a slam, depends on your draw. You know, someone could be hot coming through qualifiers like Emma Raducanu we saw a few years ago. Someone could get hot at the right time. There's a lot going on with the slams. You know, 128 players. You have to really be perfect. But when you're winning the WTA championship with the 8 best ladies in the world, that's a huge accomplishment. You are literally showing that you're the best in the world. So it's like I compare this to winning a slam, and it's like it's tough because there's so many people at a slam, and that's really your dream. You know, just having more players make the probability, you know, harder. But in terms of winning against the best 8, that's a huge accomplishment. And the reality here is you can say you're the best in the world. And Coco Gauff, guys, that's her season in a nutshell. 54 wins, 17 losses, 3 championships, Auckland, Beijing, and the Master 1000. She's amazing, guys. Back-to-back 50-win seasons. She won 51 matches this year, 54 this year, 14-5 on clay, 31-9 on hard, 5-2 on grass. It's like even though she had hiccups in the second and third quarter, in the words of Iga Swiatek and the words of me, as I've been saying this for years, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. She still finished with 54 wins and 3 titles. Coco Gauff, your 24 WTA champion. We're going to see her at the United Cup. I'm your host, Get Energy. Like the video, show some love. It's all live. It's all freestyle, baby. No script. I just go. I thank you for the love and support. If you've listened this far, hit the super thanks. Show me some love. But more importantly, show Coco love. This is a huge Coco channel. I thank all of her supporters, and I thank everyone that's a supporter of the WTA. My goal with this channel is just to bring tennis into as many households as possible. It's an amazing sport, and we all love it. Till next time.